Hey guys, another reaction video here off the Mike Sports Network. Kansas loses in the first round to Arkansas 79-72. So we've talked a decent amount here on this channel when talking about college sports about the NIL portal era. I haven't been able to think of like a portal story or like a portal player that's gone through NIL and gone to a different school and been as much of a bust as Hunter Dickinson was at Kansas. This was one of the worst and biggest failures in the NIL portal era. One of the worst transfers maybe ever in terms of like, how high profile and what he came with being a high profile national level player of the year candidate, like first team All American when he was at Michigan. And so there was a huge demand for his services. And he goes to Kansas and they got one tournament win out of him in 2 seasons. And he came back for another season. This was the preseason number one. And they end up being a 7 seed and they lose in the first round to Arkansas. Hunter Dickinson does not score in the second half of this game. And his college career is over. Like, I can't think of a player in the modern era of college sports since we went to this NIL portal format, free market shit in 2021. I can't think of a player in football, basketball, anywhere that has been as big of a bust as Hunter Dickinson, because the level of hype that this guy came in with to Kansas, you would have thought that they could have won another national title. They won in 2022. And then he comes here for the 23-24 and then 24-25 seasons. They got one tournament win. And if a ref call doesn't happen in that first round game last year against Sanford, and we all know, Jayhawk fans, you got away with one. You know what I'm talking about. If that doesn't happen, there's a decent chance Sanford beats them. And we're looking at back-to-back first-round exits for Kansas, which, for you Jayhawk fans who subscribe to the channel, know that that is unacceptable for a Kansas basketball team to not be able to advance past at least the first round. But also the fact that, and I've talked about this on the channel, in the last 6 tournaments, they've only advanced past this first weekend once, and that was when they won the national title in 2022. So a lot of this falls at the feet of Bill Self, but he also went and got this guy, Hunter Dickinson, gave him a bunch of NIL money, got him out of the portal. This was one of the biggest transfers in college basketball history, given with how much hype and, how much name value Hunter Dickinson came with. And to see this happen and bowing out as a 7 seed after being the preseason number one, and you've got one tournament win in 2 years, that's as big of a failure in college basketball, not even just college basketball, college sports. Because when you have transfers at this level of Division I in these tournaments, especially considering what he was able to do at Michigan, you have to do better than what he did, especially at a high-profile basketball institution with so much tradition as Kansas. And I'm not saying that Bill Self is a bad coach, but he's not the greatest tournament coach, because you take away a couple of big runs in the NCAA tournament to win a championship in 08 and 2022. This is not what Kansas should be. And now they were once the standard in the Big 12. They're not even the standard in their own league anymore. They're not the standard in their own league because Houston has taken that honor since they moved to this conference. And it was stunning really to watch Arkansas, even though they were struggling against Kansas's own, like Hunter Dickinson just did not have it, didn't score in the second half of this game. And that's his college career. He made the decision and got all this money to go to Kansas, and it doesn't work out. And here we are in the year of our Lord 2025, and Kansas, for the first time in nearly 20 years, is not in the second weekend of the tournament. Like, they've had a lot of round of 32 exits. They haven't had a lot of first round exits in a long time. And it also doesn't help that, hey, you're in a 7-10 game against an Arkansas team that is just about as talented as you are. This was an evenly matched game with 2 coaches who both have the same kind of track record of, like, high profile, big name value, but really haven't delivered in the tournament. But yeah, this video is about Hunter Dickinson because it's fair to wonder, this is the biggest what if and one of the biggest missed opportunities and one of the biggest failures in the NIL transfer portal era of college sports, and easily in basketball. Like, if you guys want to throw a football one at me in terms of, like, maybe you could throw Cam Ward at me, because Cam Ward had a phenomenal season and they didn't even get to the playoff. Like that, I mean, you could throw names at me about that from the football perspective, but this, like I said, considering what went on in the NIL space in terms of the portal, for him in college basketball. I can't think of a name, at least at the basketball level, that was this big of a flop as Hunter Dickinson was, because this team should have won it way, way, way bigger in March. And they won some regular season games this season, obviously one of the most disappointing in recent Kansas history. But holy shit, man, what a debacle in Lawrence. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I've talked about it. You could go watch it here on the channel. I think it's fair to wonder if Bill Self might be nearing the end of his time as a head coach in college basketball, because, you know, everything that he's been good at. Now you've got the legal the illegal stuff that was going on. It's now legal, and portal and stuff. You have to get the right players, and you're building rosters. We've seen guys around his age go away. I don't know, man. Anyway, get at me in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.